Idea about conducting this seminar emanated from that since we are heading towards the maybe the more flexible practices, not in management in our education system, and the key is how to ensure quality at all levels, despite having the quantum jump and to be, but then how to ensure quality at our places, because the focus of the new education is that we have to be we are accredited day in and day out, so therefore this becomes one of the endeavors for all of us at the university level and almost at different higher education level, that we need to have such initiatives, we need to imbibe such culture of quality assurance in all education institutions.
The University of Kashmir is committed, to maintain its all quality parameters in every sector wherever they apply, whether it's academics, whether it's examination, whether it's governance, whether it's research, wherever. We are committed to do that. And for that, time and again, steps are being taken to move ahead, not only with our own institutional parameters, but to have that competence so that we can compete at national level as well as international level. Our Department of Management is one of the oldest departments and doing so well. We have earlier also we had very good faculty of not only national repute but also of the international repute. Even the present faculty, I don't have any doubt that they are one of the best faculties on the campus, very hardworking. Our students in the management studies, our scholars in the management studies all are very hardworking while going through the different, when I receive their papers about awarding awards for PhD, I always try to read the topic of the scholars, what it is, and I'm so happy. They are already very much concerned about this total quality management, and some of their scholars are already working on it, which definitely I would like Head Department of Management and his colleagues to share the recommendations, to share the results with other faculties or with the other, our faculty on the campus, wherever it is important, so that it gives us further insight, so that how we can further strengthen our system. And I'm sure that when we have these types of activities, one learns and one corrects itself. If any correction has to be done, I'm sure that the present seminar will be one of its kind. I will definitely, I was very happy to see that lots of research scholars are also participating. I think this is how any program should go. Our students should be the important contributors in any type of programs, so that we learn from them and they learn from us. I'll definitely look for the recommendations of this particular program and see how they have to be implemented. And to both DICA and to Department of Management, I would further like to say, please keep on conducting series of these workshops, because they are needed, and then recommendations put forth so that we can see where we have to implement.
When we say that institution is of higher quality, as Professor Shah, you started mentioning, it's actually about the quality and the impact of the students and the quality and the impact of the faculty. These are the two stakeholders who actually define to a very large extent what an institution stands for. When you talk of you talked about JNU, you gave examples of an IIT or an IIM or St. Stephen's or or St. Xavier's in Mumbai, all these are perceived to be institutions of high quality. We're actually talking about what these students have gone and done subsequently. And that adds immensely to what these institutions become. But these are also institutions which take in very high performing students and add value to them. But the magic happens when you take a student who thinks that they can jump only 3 feet and the institutional system makes them jump 6. I think that's when really a quality of an institution truly comes alive in a very rich way. Now, these two groups of people, the student and faculty, are fundamentally impacted by only one thing in my mind, and that's governance of the institution. How we govern an institution, what do we do within the institution really impacts how these two will turn out and what will they go and do once they leave the institution. And I think this governance is the glue that ensures that practices, processes, structures, relationships all come together. Now, the governance system of an academic institution is comprising of structures of leadership, not only at the top, but also in the departments, in various areas of the executive, of faculty, students, and so on and so forth. It also talks about policies, rules, processes, and most important, resolution of conflicts. And they also talk about, in quite some ways, relationships between these various elements for short-term gain and for long-term advantages. And lastly, this governance is also responsible for the renewal system. I mean, academic institutions or academics largely renew themselves by going to conferences, by writing papers, visiting institutions. And it's this renewal process that is very critical in terms of how an institution starts to look over a period of time. More importantly, it's actually the quality of governance that defines the quality of education that an institution is able to provide. Because the quality of governance actually impacts the culture. The way we do things defines what kind of an institution we are. I mean, in any sense, whether you're with a student organization, what you do in that student organization will define what is the quality of output coming out from that student organization.
Quality, it means different to different people. Giving example of wheat quality. So if we ask a farmer, what's good quality wheat? His first response will be a variety which gives me good yield. That's quality for him, to a farmer. Then if you ask a wheat miller, what's quality? He would respond that a wheat which gets milled easily, which gives me a good flour yield. That's quality to a miller. And then if you ask a baker, what's good quality wheat? He will respond, I need a wheat flour if it gives me a good volume of the loaf of bread. Just see how quality means different to different people. So while extrapolating it to quality in higher education, you have not only to take student into consideration, all stakeholders, all players, be it within the system, within the institution, or outside the institution. I may be in a position to prepare a very good curriculum. My student may be in a position to score very high. But if his examination gets delayed by 2 months, do you mean it's quality education? No, it's not quality education. See quality from the perspective of the person who is outside the system. Or let's put it other way. Quality has now 2 dimensions. Quality parameters can be categorized into 2 groups. Number 1 is intrinsic factors, which are native, which are within the system. How much he scores. This is an intrinsic quality. Then there are extrinsic factors. Just again, I would like to quote example from my own field. If a manufacturer he gives us a very good bread, tasty, good keeping quality, very good nutritive value, but a customer needs it at 7 in the morning. The same quality bread, good quality bread, if it is delivered at 9 or 8:30, do you consider it quality? Nowadays, what I mean to say, it's not only those parameters which are native, which are inherent to that system, which are inherent to that product, which are inherent to that service. You have to see it from a broader perspective. That's how the concept of quality is changing. Same is true for higher education. And while working in a system, while working in higher education system, the management, Honorable Vice Chancellor is sitting here, how she perceives anything. If we want to have a quality service, if we want to have high quality higher education, all of us who are down the line, we have to perceive, think, understand the things in the similar fashion as she understands it. We cannot afford to have, say, different view. A management and people down the line, or the workers, they cannot, if we want to ensure quality, we cannot have the different, that perception of any situation if we understand the, say, goals of the organization.
After post-independence era, we just had 3 universities at the time of independence, and in the post-independence era, the policy makers and the government tried to widen the network of higher education system, and we see that at present India is the second largest higher education level at the world level. So when we talk of the different issues in the higher education in our country, we see that during the 12th plan, University Grants Commission, there were the basic certain postulates in the 12th plan, and the postulates were access, equity, quality, or what we call excellence, and a small component of the vocational education. We see the overall education scenario of country, that we see that there are almost now 1,000 universities, whether it is deemed central, state, or private. We see that there are almost 40,000 colleges in the country at present, higher education, which are imparting the higher education. But overall, when we see, because now new national education policy has come, and when we see what were the reasons and what were the issues which are faced by the higher education system in India, we see that there are different statistical issues which have been highlighted by the policymakers. We see that at Indian level, we see 119 researchers per million, as compared to 5,300 when we see it in US, when we see it in Japan, it is 4,500. Similarly, when we see that the science graduates which enter into the doctorate degrees at Indian level, it is 0.4%, and when we see it Europe, it is 7%,
or when we see it US it is 4%.
In past couple of months had a couple of programs, especially in the areas which are the areas of our concern in terms of relatively where we are not so strong as we are otherwise potentially to be. And this program, so far as concerned, this is one of the series of programs that Directorate has planned to undertake in the coming times. I believe that this quality is actually the state of mind, and the quality discourse that we expect from the university has to be understood in a global perspective, because universities in their discourse are not necessarily local only, but in very global that way. And we need to be abreast of the indicators of quality, globally and of course regionally and nationally, whatever are there in place, especially from the perspective of higher education. I must tell you, sir, that University of Kashmir is doing exceptionally well in terms of various things. For example, research. We are one of the top-ranking universities. So for the research footprint is concerned, if you look at the collaborations that we have across the globe, if you look at the quality of publications, the high-impact publications that emanate from the university, we are good at many other things. But I believe we need to be far better than what we actually are.